Students, allow me.
Okay, can you hear me now? I think are the slides changing? Do you see the second slide?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. So today we'll talk about topic models. One of the way of doing it called latent Dirichlet allocation. So let us quickly review what we have studied so far. We studied two kinds of things. One is we studied different kind of models. We started with simple generative model, which are nothing but posterior distributions, and then we studied conditional model. So in the simple generative model, you don't distinguish between the variables that everything is observed. And then there's a conditional model where some of the variables are observed and some are not observed. And you want to find the posterior predictive of one given the other, y given the x. So regression, classification, these are typical example of this kind of conditional models. Then we studied latent variable models, which can be either generative or discriminative. In the latent variable, or that means conditional. In the latent variable model, in addition to some observed and unobserved variable, you have a set of hypothetical variables which are unobserved, but they influence both the the other variables of the model. So typically mixture models are examples of latent variable models. In fact, they are one of the simplest latent variable model, where you see the data comes from a number of clusters, and which the cluster membership, which cluster a point belongs to, that is unknown. That's called a latent variable. So Gaussian mixture models, they all belong to this category. And next, we'll see today we have a little bit more complex latent variable model, sometimes known as the admixture model or the mixed membership model, more popularly known as topic models. So we'll today see such a little more complex latent variable model, and then we'll generalize it to we'll generalize the concept of latent variable to many variables, and then we have what is called graphical models. So all this relationship between the variables are represented by a graph. Since there are many variables now, and then we have directed and undirected and hidden graphical models, hidden Markov models. Okay, so these are the kind of models. On the one hand, we have studied and we will study, and for each of this model, we need to use some inferencing algorithm. Inferencing algorithm in the sense that something is given to you, some assumptions about the data in the form of priors, and some data points itself, which helps us find the likelihood, the database likelihood, and then you combine the assumptions, the prior with the likelihood, to get the posterior. So inference basically is finding out this posterior distribution. Sometimes we can't posterior distribution, we find the say the maximum point of the posterior distribution, a map or something like that, finding this posterior distribution. Posterior may be on anything. This may be y given x, this may be latent variable z given x, whatever, but it's a combination of the prior and the likelihood. So finding this posterior is possible when you have simple generative model or conditional models. We call such cases as exact Bayesian inference. We have seen that exact Bayesian is particularly easy, even algebraically, if we have conjugacy. That means the prior and the posterior belong to the same family. And we have seen, if we consider the exponential family of distributions of a particular form, then everything is conjugate to everything, any other member of the. And then we see a particular complicated form of exact Bayesian inference known as the expectation maximization algorithm, which you can apply to these mixture models and latent variable models. But as the models become more complex, you have a more complex latent variable model or graphical model, sometimes exact inference is not possible because of the fact that the denominator of the Bayes rule contains an integration term, the evidence, which is difficult to compute. And so we come up with several approximate inference techniques. Inference will be approximate and distribution by using members of a simple family of distributions. We have a sampling-based Markov chain Monte Carlo approximation techniques. There can be these two studied. There can be other. In fact, there are many other approximate inference techniques. For example, just an alternate of variational inference. We just invert the direction of the Kullback-Leibler distance is the expectation propagation. There are other methods. You combine variational EM. You have loopy belief propagation, which is just changing the objective function. And then you have several other sampling techniques, more advanced, like collapsed Gibbs, Langevin dynamics, which are approximation of the metropolis testing and the Gibbs sampling that we studied. We have sequential Monte Carlo, particle filters. So many more inference techniques are there. As we go into more complex models, we'll be requiring this more advanced approximation techniques for doing our inference as our models become more complex. So today we will study perhaps the first example of a non-trivial complex model known as a admixture model or a mixed membership model. And this is very much related to natural language processing and other things, and hence they are popularly called topic models. And so what we will do, I'll first explain what is a topic model, what are the kind of mixed memberships that are the generative model for the topic models. And then we'll discuss an approximate inference known as the Gibbs sampling for doing this. And these topic models were one of the first. So initially, this Bayesian learning was useful for the simple situations, regression. But anyway, we had a lot of methods for regression. We have a lot of methods for mixture modeling. They were known. They are known for quite a long time. And these topic models were one of the first case where Bayesian learning was very successful in real life problems, in text mining problems. And from them, they were developed by two researchers at University of California, Berkeley, David Bley and Michael Jordan. And since then, all this probabilistic machine learning, Bayesian machine learning really caught the eye of machine learning researchers, and things became popular. And these are the first instance. The things that we discussed till now were known to statistics people. They are already known to statistics literature. This was the first use where really machine learning took off. Okay, so let me start with the application problem. Then I'll discuss its mathematical formulation. So the problem is the following. We rather call it a probabilistic topic model than just a topic model. All right. So you are given a collection of objects. Think of each object as a document, an article, say a news article or a research article. You are given a collection of objects which we call a corpus. And each object consists of a set of discrete tokens. In the case of if the objects are document, then the tokens are the words. So you have a set of discrete tokens as collection of objects. And there are a kind of hypothetical or latent topics or themes associated with each document, associated with each object. So typical example is if we go to the library, you take a book is a document, all the words in the book are the tokens, and each book has some subject, some theme or some classification attached to it. The thing is that these themes or topics, these are unknown. These are latent. One has to read the entire book to find out its topic. These are not mentioned in our setting. These are not mentioned before, and nobody has read the book before. And what you want to do is that automatically, using machine learning techniques, each of these document, you have to annotate it with the topics associated with the document. Note that there may be multiple topics associated with a single document. A document can belong to, say, computer architecture or operating system. It can belong to multiple topics in different proportions also. And so you have to automatically annotate each document with the topics associated with the document. And maybe we also want to create some kind of ranking among the topics associated with the document. This is the most dominant topic, this is the second dominant topic, and so on. So this is task 1. And task 2 is that you have to characterize each topic, rather you define each topic by a collection of words or tokens associated with the topic. So let's say the topic operating system is associated with semaphores and files and so on. This is associated with a set of tokens. And here also there is a ranking among the tokens. There is a weight of the tokens, how much that token is associated with the topic. So this is task 2. And what you have to do, you have given a big collection, just a collection, no annotation, complete unsupervised. You have to do these 2 tasks. You have to annotate a document with the topics along with their weights, and you have to represent a topic using a collection of words along with their weights. Okay. Here is an example. So this is an analysis of the articles published in the journal Science in the 20th century. So each column is a particular topic. So somebody has analyzed this entire corpus and I 4 topics. There are other topics. Let's talk about only these 4. So there is these 4 topics, themes, and each topic is associated with a number of words. For example, the first topic, we don't give a name to the topic. That would be supervised. That would require manual intervention. But what the program does is to identify, label a set of documents with topics. It doesn't matter what the name of the topic is. You can call it topic 1, topic 2. And for each topic 1, topic 2, finds out a set of words associated with the topic. Okay. So somebody, if human, afterwards look into it. For example, if I look into it, I can maybe give some name to topic 1. All right. So what are the words associated? For example, topic 1 is associated with human, genome, DNA, genetics, something like this. And maybe evolutionary organism, species. This is the second topic, bacteria, disease, or something like that. So this matrix you keep in mind. A topic is a column, and each topic consists of a number of words, which are the rows. Why we are doing this? Why you are interested to find such a topic? There are 3 main motivations. One is to, of course, to summarize and search and do all sorts of information retrieval activities on this entire collection. For example, one might want to annotate the documents automatically using these topics. One might want to, first of all, find what are the topics, inside a collection, and discover the surveyed or hidden topics, and then once you annotate, use these to maybe search, maybe cluster or categorize, maybe to generate summaries. You can do all these kind of tasks once you have annotated. Any digital library would be very happy to annotate like that. Okay, and this need not be restricted to just to text. It can be extended to image collections, where you consider an image as a document, and image as a document, and then you image features, let's say the color or a small age or something, they can be thought of tokens. And in fact, one of the thing is that what we assume in this exercise is that we assume a document as a bag of tokens, collection of words. Similarly, if we do so, we can consider an image as a bag of visual words. You can extend it to other things. For example, you can extend it, say, the Facebook network. And the graph is the document, and maybe individual subgraphs are the tokens inside the document. Some particular type of subgraph is a token. So this bag of word is a very, very useful representation of objects, which is used in many of these things. This is not entirely perfect in the sense that this bag of word ignores the order of the words, ignores that in which sequence the words are arranged in the document. But the thing is that our justification is that if you just want to find topics to annotate the document, you don't need the sequence. Just the collection of words, the bag of words is enough. How many times a word occurs, that is enough. So that's our justification. There are more advanced models which can take into account sequences, but right now we are not talking about that. So it can be, so this was topic modeling was a very powerful technique which was applied to all types of data. And many applications were developed using these annotated themes of the documents. For example, there is something called topic track. So this is a track of the topics. How many documents have these as the dominant topics over the year? So you can look at popular. This is actually very popular in all these news analysis and opinion analysis that Facebook and other news media does. They look at a particular topic and then see how this topic changes, how the popularity of these topics among the articles published changes with time. All the advertisement media uses it a lot. You can have topic maps. So you can kind of have a graph or a knowledge graph, so to say, relating the topics, depending on maybe say how many common words this. By the way, one thing I maybe it's implied is that it's not that one word appears in a single topic. One word can appear in multiple topics. Just as one document can be annotated with multiple topics, one word can also appear in multiple topics. So you see the number of common words between two topics, then as if draw an edge between these. Each node is a topic and draw an edge, and you get a kind of thematic map, which can help you navigate the topics, which can help you organize the topics, search the topics, and so on. This is sometimes called a semantic web or a knowledge graph. Okay, and you can do a cross correlation study. You do a topic analysis of images, you have to do a topic analysis of the annotations, and then you connect these two, and then you get an automated annotation of the images. So there are many applications. I mean, one of the most popular technique used in text mining. Okay, so this entire concept of this labeling with a document with a topic, this was in fact very widely studied. So the simplest form was probably the text classification algorithms, naive-Bayes. It put a document into a single topic, one document, one class. It's a single topic. It was one of the earliest form, no mixture, but every document is a mixture of the words, the probability of the words. So if you remember naive-Bayes, it multiplies all the word probabilities. So it's an independent mixture of all the unigrams. Then there was latent semantic indexing. So what latent semantic indexing did was you have a word vector. You have a word vector. You represent a document as an something called a TF-IDF vector. It's a vector whose size is the number of words in the vocabulary, the dictionary size. And depending on whether a particular word is present or absent or how many times present, you form one such big vector for every document. The components of the vector, so it's like this. So it's like you have a document. Those who know little bit of information retrieval might very well know this, but it's something like this. So you have, let's say, 1 million words in your dictionary, and you form a vector of length 1 million, and you want to represent a document, let's say document 1. You count how many times the first word appears, how many times the second word appears. Many words will be 0 actually, and this is your document vector. Okay. The problem with this plain and simple document vector is that synonymous words and similar meaning words, they all have a separate entry in this vector. And so if something has a word elevator and some other document has a word lift, since they are different entries, they would not be treated as similar, but they should have been. So what latent semantic indexing does is that it makes a matrix of these word vectors, and then if two word co-occurs in lot of documents, meaning they have same, they are synonymous. Okay, so you just look at co-occurrence of words in a document, in a sentence, or whatever is the granularity, and then you treat them. If they co-occur a lot, you treat them as similar. So based on this, it can be shown this is equivalent to projecting this big vector into a lower dimensional vectors, where some of the components of the original vector are clubbed together if they're synonymous. That's why you have a lower dimensional projection. And this can be done by finding out the eigenvectors of this term document matrix. This is called a term document matrix into its transpose. You can find these lower dimensional projections where every dimension now does not represent physical words, they represent concepts or topics. Okay. So this was called LSI, or latent semantic indexing. The word topic model, the topic models were inspired by this. But this latent semantic indexing, it just uses any probability. It's not a basic model. It doesn't tell about what is the probability of a word belonging to a concept. It just tells it belongs to a concept, it doesn't belong to a concept. So there was a need for a more complex model. And Bley and Jordan, I think around 2005, they extended this concept using one of the existing method in statistics known as mixed membership models. And there are many ways of extending models. One particular, all of them are mixed membership models. One particular way is using something called a latent Dirichlet allocation, LDA, latent Dirichlet allocation. And since then, this has been really the most popular approach. Many extensions were suggested, but this is the most popular approach. And I'll explain what the approach is. Okay, so so this is a document. This is a document in I think Nature, in Science itself, which tells about how many genes, what is the minimum number of size of the DNA required for a species to survive in evolution. And let me explain what it means. As I have said, the basic assumption is that this document will have multiple topics. So let's look at this curve. In the x-axis, I have labeled, I have marked all the topics. Need not necessarily all the topics in this document, all the topics in the corpus. So I have marked, say, 96 topics are there. And in the y-axis, I plot what is the probability that this document contains this topic. This document talks about this topic. Okay. And what this histogram says is that this topic is the most dominant associated with this document. This topic is there, but not so dominant. This topic is maybe the second most dominant. This topic is very less associated, and these are not at all associated with this document. Okay, so the document would be represented by this kind of a topic histogram, whose x-axis is the number of topics, y-axis is the probability of this document containing this topic. So one thing also, if you try to understand that this histogram, I could have also represented by a 96-dimensional vector, where the elements of this vector are this y-axis, say 0.0, 0.4, and so on, are the values of these probabilities. Okay, so in other words, I am representing every topic, every document by a topic vector. The elements of the topic vector are the probabilities of this document talking about this topic. This is the first thing to be noted. Second thing to be noted is that for each of these points in the x-axis, each of these topics, I associate a set of words. And so that means this word with this probability belongs to this topic. This word with this probability belongs to this topic. So in order to visualize, what I have done, all the words belonging to the same topic with high probability is so actually you can also visualize this. So what it means is that if we have a vector of all the words in the dictionary, say I call it term 1, term 2, up to say term 1 million, every topic would be a combination of some of the words with some probabilities. So you remember this picture. So this topic is a collection of these words with some probabilities again. So I can represent a topic again by a vector. So this is the representation of a document as a topic vector, and the represent document as a and the representation of a topic as a word vector. Okay, so the words which are not at all associated with the topic are 0 probabilities, and the words which are associated, you have their corresponding probabilities, say 0.1, 0.4, and so on. So this is a topic vector. So what I have done to visualize is that all the words which have non-zero probability of belonging to a topic, to one particular topic, I have colored them the same. So these all pink words belong to this second topic, survive. Okay, in the topic, these yellow words are this genome, all these things. Compute is the blue topic, and so on. So you see, every document is a collection of words. Every words belong to a topic, and every document does is a collection of topics. Okay, so the extension over LSI is that two things. First thing, a document is a collection of multiple topics with some probabilities. First point. Second point, a topic is a collection of multiple words. Note that in naive Bayes, one topic maybe a few words. So a topic is a collection of multiple words, each with some probability. So this is why this is called a mixed membership model. Okay. All right. So now, so if the semantics is clear, now let us see something called a generative model. The idea is that the document is a bag of word, and each word as if is generated by some probabilistic process and put inside the bag. So you have kind of the picture is something like this. You have this is your document, a bag of word. This is your bag of word. And then you have a generative machine. Generative process, inside which there are a lot of complicated things going on. But basically this is probabilistic. There is some coin tossing and random number generation going on. And after this random number generation, it produces a word. Produces a word, and that word comes inside this bag. And this is repeated n times. This process is repeated n times. So you have a collection of n words. And that's a document. That's a document. All right. And we believe that all the documents in the collection are being generated by the same generative process. By the same generative process. Of course, with different parameters, but the structure of the process is same. Now, let us look more deeply into this, what goes on inside this generative process. Okay. So let me explain. So let me explain, for example, how this document was generated. First of all, let's imagine the first thing is that a topic is generated. How a topic is generated? A topic is generated by giving some probabilities to every word in the dictionary. So gene is given a probability 0.04, DNA is given a probability 0.02. This way, you give different probabilities to every word, and you get a topic. And you get a topic, right? So you can also think of that a topic. Okay, it's already written down. A topic is nothing, because see, this moment I write this 0.04, 0.02, 0.01, as if I am defining a distribution over the words. This word has this probability, this word has this probability, this word has this probability. So I am defining a distribution over my words in the dictionary. So every topic is nothing but a distribution over the dictionary, over the words, a distribution over the words. Okay. So first what I do is that I generate this. So this is topic 1. I can also call it a distribution 1. And I generate topic 2, which is distribution 2. I'll soon explain how these distributions are generated. Actually, it will turn out that these distributions themselves are generated by another higher level distribution. So it's a nested process. You have a higher level distribution which generates a distribution, and this distribution is a distribution over topics, over words. So all right. So this way you generate, if you have k topics, you have to assume how many topics are there. Let's say k topics. You generate distribution of words, and each distribution is this kind of probability vector over each and every word. And each of them, so there is a separate probability vector for each different topic, and you have k such topics. So this is first one, first thing. Okay. So see, there is another way of looking at this. Imagine a dice. You are all familiar with a okay. Anyway, I'll come back to it later, slightly later. All right. Similarly, suppose I have k topics. What I do, I make another vector which talks about some proportion of topics, some mixture of topics. Say I take topic 1, I take 0.4 topic 1, 0.1 topic 2. So I have, let's say I have these 3 topics, this pink, yellow, and blue. In different proportions, I pick up this topic and mix them. Just like you pick up red, green, and blue and mix them in different proportions to create different colors, I pick up these 3 topics. Well, I'll not have 3 topics, I'll have k topics, but I pick up these k topics, each with a different proportion, and I mix them. Okay, and I mix them, and I say one particular such mixture is a document. Say, for example, what I do is that, say, this is a mixture of 2 pink, 3 yellow, and 4 blue. 2:3:4. This mixture I make. This mixture I make. Okay, and I say this particular document is, let's say, 2 out of how many? 2 out of 9 talks about evolution. So much percentage evolution. 3 out of 9 percentage genetics, and 4 out of 9 percentage computer analysis. That's this document. That's the topic mixture for this document. Okay, this document theme, if you talk about the theme of a document, it's a mixture of these 3 topics in these proportions. Okay, so this I would call a topic proportion. Topic proportion. Note that this any particular topic proportion can also be thought of as a distribution over the topics. So this is a k-dimensional vector with values 0.4, 0.1 like this. So this is also this you can already see from this histogram. This is a distribution over topics. Okay, so every document represents a distribution over topics. A rather sparse distribution, because most of the topics would not be present in the document, only few topics are present. A sparse distribution, but no doubt a distribution over the topics. Okay, so each document is a mixture of corpus topics. Once these 2 are ready, so this topic to word distribution and document to topic distribution, once these 2 distributions are ready, now I am ready to generate the words for the document. How do I generate the words from the document? By a 2-step process. The process is like this. In the first step, from this document topic distribution, document to topic distribution. So you can think of it like this: 2 pink, 3 yellow, 4 green, 4 blue. You randomly pick up any one. Let's say I am picking up this yellow. I have picked up this yellow. Okay, so another way of thinking of is it like this. You are all familiar with a 6-facet dice. Imagine this as a k-facet dice, and not a unbiased dice, a biased dice. Let's say a biased dice in the sense that so you have one such dice for every document. Every document is one such dice. And what is the bias? The bias for the pink face is 2 of 9. The bias for the yellow face is 3 of 9, and the green face is 4 of 9. Let's say in this case I have a 3-facet dice. So now if I throw the dice, one of the color will come up. Let's say yellow has come, and which color will come up more frequently will depend on this proportion, vector. So let's say yellow has come up. Yellow has come up. All right. So now I have to generate a yellow word. How will I generate a yellow word? I go to the yellow topic. Now this yellow topic is again another dice. So if you have total D words in your vocabulary, each topic is a D-faced dice. You have D words. And what are the bias of these dice? And you have one separate such dice for every topic. The bias of this dice, for example, this first dice has 0.04 probability of gene phase, 0.02 probability of the DNA phase, 0.01 probability for the genetic phase of the dice. Okay, this is the bias. And I have chosen this yellow dice. So I throw this yellow dice. One of these words will come up. Let's say the word DNA has come up. So now, to remember again, two steps. First, I throw the document topic dice. One of the topic will come up, and then I go to the corresponding. Say it's the evolution, is the genetic dice. I go to the genetic topic, which is this yellow thing. This second dice over words. I do the second dice over words. A word will pop up. A word will come up according to these probabilities. And a particular word, one yellow word will come up. I paint it yellow. This yellow word will come up, and that word finally I put in this bag of the document bag. I put in this document bag. So this is the generative process. I have not yet talked about. So if you know this vector for each of the topics, this word vector for word proportion for each of, if you know this, and if you know for every document what are these proportion vectors, then you can generate the set of words by this process. You can generate the set of words. Okay, and this process you repeat if the document has n words. This n times you throw the first dice and n times you throw the second dice, and you get your document. And you repeat this for all the documents in the corpus. Okay. I'll soon explain that this word distribution for every topic and the topic distribution for every document. These are in turn. So far I have talked about two distributions. One is this topic versus word distribution, and another is this document versus topic distribution. These two distributions are themselves generated from two other distributions. So it's a distribution over distribution. They are generated from two other distributions. I will talk about them. Okay, so this is the process. To generate a document, you randomly choose a distribution over topics. And for each generating the words, you choose a topic from the distribution over topics. And for that particular topic, choose a word from the corresponding topic, distribution over the vocabulary. Okay. And as I have said, for the step 1, that is randomly generated distribution, and from the step 2b, word from a computer, word corresponding to a topic, you need two other distributions, which are kind of more complex, which are distribution over distributions. All right. And so this is how the process is generated. Note that this trial, generating every new word, is not dependent on the previous word. It's not dependent on what was the previous word generated. So that's why it is a bag of word or a unigram model. It's not the sequence is not important. It's a unigram model. Right. So this is a limitation, but still it is very rich. All right. So what we'll do is that so we have generated the process. Now we need to mathematically describe each of these distributions in this generative model, and then talk about how to estimate the parameter. So finally, what will be given is just this collection of documents. Each document is a collection of words. You are just given this. So only observable you have, the only observable you have are these words belonging to a document. That's the only thing you have. And all this topic and then distribution of words in a topic and topic proportions in a document, these are kind of imagined. They are latent. They are not observed. Okay. The only observation are the words that you see. Right. But these latent variables are introduced to model the generative process. And it's purely an assumption. It has its limitations. It is purely an assumption, but we see that these assumptions are good in two ways. One way is that assumptions are amenable to mathematical derivations. It's easy to, if you take much more complex thing, maybe the mathematics would be too difficult. The mathematics is easy if you make these assumptions. And secondly, it reflects the reality or the tasks in hand most of the time. It completely doesn't reflect the reality. For example, it ignores sequences, but still it practically it gives good result. So the assumption is not very bad. Okay, so I think I don't have time today because I have to so what we'll do in the next class, that we'll look at these individual distributions and how to estimate. Maybe quickly, or maybe, okay, this terminology will come when we talk later. Okay, so let me stop today. If you have any questions, I can answer. If you have any questions, I can answer. Otherwise, I'll stop today. I'll go on with the remaining next class.